In my early days as an advertiser, running commercials on TV was guesswork. I knew TV was powerful, but it was impossible to see which ads truly worked. So I teamed up with the best data scientists to create a better way to buy and measure TV ads. Tatari was born. Today, hundreds of brands and agencies use Tatari, and we help them optimize with metrics that actually grow the business. Learn more at tatari.tv.
Paul Rice is a visionary social entrepreneur who founded Fairtrade USA in 1998, now North America's leading supplier of Fairtrade products. He spent 11 years working in the coffee lands, establishing Nicaragua's first Fairtrade coffee export cooperative, owned by 2,500 families. He graduated from Yale University with a degree in economics and political science and holds a master's in business administration from the University of California, Berkeley. During the past 40 years, he has been awarded many honors as an ethical business leader and for his work as a social engineer. It's good to see you, Paul. I appreciate you taking time to chat. Conscious consumers are changing the world, a movement thoughtfully explored in your new book, Every Purchase Matters. It's a message that resonates globally.
I so appreciate that you took the time to read the book. I'm impressed.
Let's begin our conversation on the power of harnessing consumer preferences by examining how fair trade works.
So, fair trade is a certification based on a rigorous set of social and environmental standards that tea farms and other farms around the world adhere to and get audited against every year. When they pass that audit, then they're able to wear that fair trade certified label on their product. And in return, the market pays them more money. And that's kind of the secret sauce of the fair trade model. We believe that companies and consumers should help producers that are on a road to more sustainable livelihoods and sustainable agricultural practices. So in the case of tea, that established fair trade premium is 50 cents per kilo, so roughly $1 a pound. And that's the amount of money that the buyers, brands, retailers here in the United States, around the world, are paying back to those tea gardens in India and Sri Lanka and other countries. And that money is used by the community to invest in really life-changing benefits for the workers and their families. It's enabling better housing. It's enabling tea gardens to build schools and clinics and provide scholarship money for kids to stay in school. I visited a fair trade certified tea farm in Rwanda a couple of years ago, and that farm had used its fair trade premiums to build a daycare center and an adjacent school and a nutritional center that fed hundreds of kids every day from the tea garden and the surrounding community. And for me, it just kind of blew me away to think that you and I, with something as simple as a cup of tea, can reach halfway across the world and feed kids and help keep those kids in school. And that's what fair trade is all about.
Consumers are skeptical, especially of sustainability claims. Research in the Canadian market shows a relatively high degree of mistrust. What makes fair trade trustworthy?
So our research indicates that there's consumer skepticism around unverified claims by companies who say, believe us, trust us, our tea, our coffee, our products are sustainable, but without that layer of independent verification. And, that's really the role of organic certified, of fair trade certified, of non-GMO certified. We are independent third-party auditors that go in and independently of the companies that buy these products, we're verifying the sustainability of the agricultural practices and verifying that workers are taken care of. And so in the case of fair trade, we have very high levels of consumer awareness. Over 66% of consumers in the United States recognize the fair trade certified label. About 40% report buying fair trade certified products, either on a regular or occasional basis. It's even higher in Europe and Canada. Europe kind of started the fair trade movement 15, 20 years before it landed here in the US. We launched the fair trade certified label in the US in 1998. It had already been around for quite a while in Europe. So your levels of awareness and adoption in Europe are even higher in the US. And in answer to your question, Dan, I think trust is key. Consumers want products that have social and environmental impact, but they want proof. And so therein lies the value of that independent third-party certification to, provide the reassurance to the consumer that the product with the label actually delivers in terms of social and environmental impact.
Do you see an upward or downward trend in the number of companies applying for or receiving certification, specifically tea companies? I know you're doing great with apparel, coffee, cocoa, fresh produce, dairy, fish, and even home goods.
Definitely an upward trend in two ways, Dan. First of all, in the private label sector, more and more we're seeing growth in coffee, tea, and other products among, grocery stores, from Whole Foods to Walmart to Kroger, who are bringing fair trade certification into their private label. So in fact, my last visit to a tea plantation was Rwanda, and I was visiting there with some executives from Kroger who have a big fair trade tea program, and they've been supporting the Sorwate plantation in Rwanda with a lot of really great projects. So we see a lot of growth in private label tea, and then we're seeing growth in just small, startup coffee and tea brands that are coming into the game now. And the entrepreneurs that are starting these businesses kind of see fair trade and organic, or fair trade and other models of sustainability as table stakes. They are looking ahead. They're looking at the numbers on millennials and Gen Z, and they're realizing they have to embrace something like this in order to be successful.
One of the things that concerns growers is the additional cost of certifications. Not necessarily a single certification, but a grower confronting 9 certifications, each of which is essential to a specific market.
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say in the past, farm owners have signed up for fair trade certification because their buyers asked them to. And, as a farm owner, you don't want to lose that relationship. You don't want to lose the sale. You want to follow the market trend. So you say, yes, sir, and you do it. But that motivation has evolved in the last 10 years in a really interesting way, in that more and more farm owners are reporting that they see intrinsic value in the certification for their own farms in 3 ways mainly. Number one, tea farmers and other growers are reporting that fair trade certification is helping them retain their workers. We're hearing across agriculture all over the world that worker retention is emerging as the number one challenge, right? Because at the end of the harvest, the workers may leave, they may move to another area, they may go to the cities. And so worker retention is a big deal. And worker retention on fair trade farms is about 4 times higher than worker retention in the industry, in the agricultural industry as a whole. When farm owners can retain their workers, they're more successful, right? Their productivity goes up, their recruitment costs and training costs go down. And so there's real value in fair trade certification, or anything that can help stabilize the workforce, number one. Number two, fair trade criteria, fair trade standards require the implementation of integrated pest management and other sustainable agricultural practices, which tend to reduce production costs.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, the farm owners are finding value in the standard in terms of their own, costs and production challenges on the farm. The third benefit that we're hearing from farm owners is simply that fair trade guarantees a premium back to that farm. And so farm owners may want to invest in better housing for their workers, but may not have the wherewithal to do that, the funding. But
Right.
that fair trade premium gives them the funding to be able to
Right.
do things like that. And so, it has to be, in my view, fair trade and other sustainability approaches have to architect a win-win-win proposition. Otherwise, it isn't sustainable and it isn't scalable. And when I say win-win-win, I'm really thinking about the three key stakeholders in the business model, right? It's the grower, it's the company that's buying that tea, and then it's you and me, the consumer. And if we all find value in this international handshake, if you will, in this fair trade partnership, then the model will grow. And that's what we're seeing. And I believe that's why fair trade tea continues to grow every year.
You titled your book, Every Purchase Matters, to tell the inside story of fair trade and explain conscious consumerism. Will you describe that concept and why every purchase does matter?
And now more than ever, every purchase matters is, in some ways, such a delicious cherry on the top of my 26 years at the helm of Fair Trade USA, the organization I started in 1998. I never really felt like I had earned the right to tell the story until now. And this book it's the untold story of our movement. It's the story of great brands and activists and farmers and worker groups who share in their own voice the lessons learned from 26 years of building the fair trade movement, both the wonderful successes and the impact on so many families around the world, but also the failures, those product launches that didn't work. And what did we learn from it? And so my goal in writing this book was to provide insight and inspiration to consumers who are wondering, what is this fair trade thing? And does it really make a difference? And, show me what's under the hood, right? There's a lot of consumer curiosity around things like this. But also, I think this book is in some ways a roadmap for business people that are trying to figure out how to make their businesses more sustainable. So, the title, Every Purchase Matter, is a call to action to business people who are making decisions around how to source products that we consume, but it's also a call to action to the consumer. And especially in times like these, where, here in the United States, we have a government that is reversing or trying to reverse many of the achievements in the sustainability and social justice field. And so many people just feel helpless in the face of this steamroller government that we have here. And yet, you don't have to wait 4 years till the next presidential election to raise your voice for change. You can actually vote with your purchasing dollars every time you go to the store. Every time you go to the store and pick a product, you have a chance to choose a product that is more sustainable and socially responsible or not. And so in that sense, Every Purchase Matters, the title of my book, is a message of hope and of empowerment for every one of us.
Produced by Audavita Studios. Connect your voice to the world.